It's time for Mac Geek Gab, and listener Bruce brings us our cool stuff of the week with... In a recent episode, Dave and Adam talked about an app that used to be included in the macOS Utilities folder called Network Utility, which Apple has long since discontinued. However, Devon Technologies have picked it up and continues to develop this extremely handy utility, now called Neo Network Utility. Bonus, it's free, and of course, we'll have the link in the show notes for you at macgeekgab.com. More cool stuff found like this, plus your question answered today on Mac Geek Gab 1128 for Monday, February 9th, 2026.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to Mac Geek Gab, the show where we share cool stuff found like that. And normally we also share quick tips and your questions and answer your questions. And we might do a little bit of that this week. But as promised, it is a cool stuff found focused episode. A lot of the stuff is free, like our first one. Some of it's not. I know. Some of you call these wallet buster episodes. We try to be cognizant of that and mindful. But stuff's cool, so it's fun to just dream a little bit, isn't it? And that is why we do what we do, so that we can each learn or learn about 5 new things every single time we get together. Our sponsors for today include Shopify.com/MGG, where you can sign up for your $1 per month trial period, and a new sponsor, Sundaysfordogs.com/MGG50, where you get 50% off your first order of this like dog food that's made from like real meat and fruits and veggies. I tried it, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. For now, here on National Clean Out Your Computer Day in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here in South Dakota, I'm Adam Christensen.
And here, also in New Hampshire, and I'm going to have a cool stuff found later about cleaning out your phone, too. It's Pilot Pete. Good to be back with you, gents. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Always fun to be
here. We are.
Friday
no matter where we went, here we are.
Except for, how about that game yesterday, huh? What a Super Bowl. Go Pats. Woo-hoo.
That's right. Yeah. We
I can't believe they won by that much.
Oh, jeez.
I like this, Pete. That's good.
I'm so not a sports ball person. The only thing I care about is if I'm going to win money in the pool, the office pool for
there you go.
The 3rd year in a row.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, you will have known by the time this episode comes out, Adam. So.
Yep.
Right. See, Adam, if you wouldn't constrain yourself to the linear timeline, you could win every week in the office pool. But, you know.
I only had a Gray's Sports Almanac.
Yeah, that's right.
From the future.
Right. From the future. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'd own a casino by now.
And you'd have a nice jacket to wear, too.
That's the only way to win at gambling.
All right. More cool stuff found, or in this instance, cool stuff made, shall we?
Yeah.
Oscar wrote in, he says, I'm the solo indie developer behind apps like Sensei and Trim Enabler, which you've mentioned on the show before. He said, I just launched a new app called Backdrop 2.0, and it is the first live wallpaper app to allow custom video wallpapers on the Mac lock screen, a feature that users have wanted for years. It gives users deep personalization that macOS doesn't offer. So he sent that in, and we love, when listeners create things, and it's awesome. So yes, thank you for sending that in, Oscar. And of course, links in the show notes. Fun stuff. Live wallpaper on the lock screen. That's good.
It doesn't take any CPU time to.
It takes less than you think.
Yeah,
okay. Like the live wallpapers are pretty efficient, at least on the Macs that I've seen. But I have some commentary, not about live wallpaper, but about Tahoe and efficiency. And it relates to something Adam said, but I stumbled onto something this week. So there will be a protracted tech discussion.
So we're going to need to talk.
Maybe even soon.
I've got a banner for that even. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, very cool. Well, we got another one from Pensacola Craig this week. He writes in, "Hi, guys. My apology if this has already been covered. I have a very vague recollection of Pete mentioning it within the last year, but maybe another similar app. But DockLock Lite resolves the issue of the Mac dock moving around. It keeps it locked to a display and locked to a position. The small app keeps the Mac dock locked in place, display and position, included in the basic free version." He says, "I was frequently having the dock move between my displays in a dual monitor setup because when you move the mouse cursor straight down, the dock will jump to the secondary display, and that was happening to me at least once a week. Very annoying. DockLock Lite completely resolves this problem in the free version based upon my initial experience. Once downloaded, it will start up in a free trial version of an enhanced feature set, but once the free trial expires, you revert to the basic free feature set, and that does include locking the dock into place. Cheers, Pensacola Craig."
Love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Cool stuff. That's why I mean, the name wrote itself, folks. It's cool stuff found.
Yeah.
All right. We got another one, Adam?
I'm up with Jim.
I think so.
Yeah, let's see what Jim has to say. Jim says, on a recent episode, you were discussing bookmark sorting and management. For many years, I've used Bookmaxter by Sheep Systems to edit, sort, and sync bookmarks across browsers, and it works great. So, yeah, this one's a common thing that comes up a lot. And I think I've commented before, I'm not really a bookmark person, but I know a lot of people are, and managing and syncing and, doing all your bookmarks, especially if you're not a single browser type person, is never really fun.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, well, I'm looking at this because of what Pete's about to mention next. I don't see that listed here, but maybe. So, yeah, I can see this being very, very handy for a lot of reasons. Very good. Fun. Huh. Cool. And it looks like, is it free? I think it's free, or at least how to demo or buy. Okay. It is not free. It is $25. There you go.
Yeah.
And they do have academic licensing too. So, which offers a 33% discount. So,
nice.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right, Pete.
Yeah. I've thought for a long time someone needs to do that, and now they have.
Yes.
It's, in other words, I invented it. Someone else implemented it.
But like, I'm excited now because on Business Brain, I'm sure I've said it here too, but on Business Brain, I say all the time, if you want your idea to be worth $100, write it on the $100 bill.
Right on.
Ideas aren't worth anything without execution. And your self-deprecating and very funny commentary highlights that. Love it.
Yeah. It's, how many good ideas, years and years ago, I thought, man, there must be a way to put something on a remote control so I don't have to hunt in the couch cushions for the darn thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, thank you, Apple, for the AirTag.
Now we have it.
Keys,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, let's be perfectly candid. This show exists because I copied what other people were doing and then ran out of ideas and we had to pivot. But,
and now people give us the ideas.
And now, right, it's fair. And when I say I copied what other people were doing, other people is Adam.
There he is. I'm pointing at him on the live stream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not nice to point.
Actually, two Adams. It was you and Adam Curry.
Listener Allison. Oh, Adam Curry. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really the two of them. Yeah.
We were all just trying to find our way. I mean, my show, if anybody listened in the early days, started out as Ken. Ken hadn't started doing it yet, but Ken Ray's show. Because my concept was I had a long commute at the time, and I wanted to recap the news because I would drive to work for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I would get there, and the first thing I would do is sit in front of my computer and pull up all the Apple websites and catch up on the news for like 15 minutes while I kind of got started in the morning. And then I realized, man, it'd be great if there was a podcast that would do this for me and I could just listen on my commute. But that turned out to be a lot of work. And then I think what happened was I got my first question and I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
This is a way that I can probably bring what I get with my user group, which was dying, even back then, and share it with a lot more people and get a lot more interaction. And so it just evolved that way. But yeah, my first idea was a 5-minute daily podcast that would just recap the news headlines of the week for Apple geeks.
That sure snowballed fast, huh?
It's interesting. I never had heard that story before. And what were the interesting parallel is that we both stumbled into answering people's questions accidentally.
Yeah.
Like you did it that way. We did the first episode. John and I talked about whatever the latest version of macOS or whatever. I think it was called macOS 10 was called then, like in our experiences with it. It was super boring, but you can listen to it. It's fine. And it's out there. Mac Geek Gab, mgg.fm/1 will get you there, I'm sure. And then I can't remember what episode 2 was. And I suppose, I can also do the same thing and go to mgg.fm/2 and figure it out. This was all about podcasting. So we taught people about like what apps were available to do all that, like NetNewsWire and iPodder and like that stuff. Yeah. And we talked about
one from Germany that was good about that. It did your RSS feed for you automatically.
Yeah.
All that.
But that was episode 2. Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure episode 3 was when I didn't have any ideas and I called it the mailbag. Nope. So I've been lying for years. Episode 3 was wireless base stations. We talked about. Okay. So, but somewhere early on, single-digit episodes. No, it wasn't episode 3. It wasn't episode 4.
I was going to say, Dave, you should probably just ask Perplexity or.
There it is.
Oh,
looks like you got it on 5.
Yeah, it was episode 6. Was episode 5. Sorry, no, you're right, Pete. Episode 5 was when we ran out of ideas, and so I called it Mailbag Mayhem, and I made up a bunch of questions to answer for people. And because
just the 4 listeners hadn't written in yet.
No, we were able. We had about 1,000.
Oh, you did
listeners
have a good listener base because of the website.
Right out of the gate because of the website. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. And but so I made that up, and ever since, so it was episode 5. I need to retrain my brain. Ever since that, like then that was like same with you, Adam. People started sending in questions and for me, I never thought I never really back then I wasn't doing user groups much. There was a stint in the middle where I did, but for me it was like, oh, this is great. This can replace. One of the things I loved most about doing on-site consulting for people was being able to help them by answering their questions, and so. It was like, great, I can replace this now because I was moving and I wasn't planning on doing consulting up here. Of course, I do some of it, but yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, exactly. Right, forever. Yeah. So,
well, yeah. And your other problem, Adam, was macOS Adam just isn't as catchy as macOS Ken. So
that was clever. Oh. All right, shall we move on?
We shall. Let's do it at this time, huh? So I got one, and then I noticed that Dave's also using it, but I actually have a twofer here.
Okay.
The Atlas browser is associated in some ways with ChatGPT. They promoted it to me and said, hey, use this.
They make it, Pete.
It's make
from
it.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, but go ask, make this error. Go ask ChatGPT to summarize what the Atlas browser is.
Doesn't know.
And it gives you the I don't know salute. What are you talking about? Are you talking about this project or that project called Atlas? No, your browser. We don't have a browser. Well, yeah, you do. And I pointed to it and it's like, oh yeah, never mind. So,
yep.
I mean, come on, man. Your own product. Here's the cool thing though. It is a browser. It works. It's called the ChatGPT Atlas.app. You can import your bookmarks and profiles and all that kind of stuff. But once you're in it, you import you can open the ChatGPT sidebar and ask it to summarize, explain, handle tasks, emails, write reviews and all that. But right in the sidebar of the browser, and you can ask it, relevant questions about what you're looking at on your browser. It's I guess the word is agentic. It's very agentic. But it's an experimental OpenAI browser shell, runs locally. It navigates to sites, gathers info, and potentially helps complete multi-step actions.
It's got Chrome at its core.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you say
I
you
thought it
had
was Arc? For some reason, I thought it was Arc, but it's Chrome. Okay.
Well, Arc also has Chrome at its core.
Well, there you go. So, so I was correct. It's separate from the ChatGPT main app, so it is a browser. So
I have a lot to say about this.
Okay, well, that's good. It's got some rough edges, but for those of you who are Perplexity users and not ChatGPT users, Perplexity has one called Comet. So there's your twofer.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we both. Had you not put this on the list, Pete, I would have put it on the list.
Okay.
And this is. It's interesting that we both did this week because both of these browsers have been out and on my computers for months. I mean, since they came out, and I test them. For whatever reason, I never quite understood until this week. I was doing some stuff. I was messing with Claude Cowork. Now, Claude Code is the agentic coding system, and when we talk about agentic, I mean you have an agent that runs locally on your computer, leveraging the LLM to perform tasks for you. And Claude Code, of course, was to write code. And you would have multiple agents. You'd have one to write your code. You'd have another to review your code. You might have one to write the backend code, one to write the user interface code, and then another to oversee it, and another to bug test it, and another to make your unit tests. And it can completely level up your coding. I'm reminded of Steve Jobs when he explained how the computer, like the Mac, was going to be the bicycle for the mind. With coding and with the agentic stuff in general, it's that same level up, right? Steve, for those of you that don't know the reference, Steve said early on, like to a graphic design school or something where he gave a speech, he said, you take a human, and a human is capable of getting from point A to point B, in an hour. But you give a human a bicycle, and it's that same human using their same energy, and they can get from point A to point D in an hour because they're using this bicycle. And so that was the metaphor. It's a bicycle for the mind. This feels like that same kind of level up, and I'm probably understating it. So I'd been messing with Claude Cowork, and I was doing an experiment. Our Business Brain show, we have a whole Friday AI segment, and so I was like, okay. We had kind of abandoned our X account, our Twitter account with the Business Brain show. It's not entirely true. We were auto-posting things to it, but we weren't really doing anything. And so I asked Cowork, I said, hey, can you come up with a plan and then execute that plan to revive this account? And it was amazing because what it did was it said, yeah, can you install the Chrome connector? And I was like, sure. And it took over my browser with my permission, of course, and went through all the screens of our X account. And so it's like, all right, here's the thing. Here's what you're posting. You're not replying. You're doing this. You're in effectively algorithmic jail because you're not a good X citizen. You're not interacting. You're not doing things. I'm like, great. Can you come up with a plan? It's like, yes. I'm like, can you execute that plan? Yes. So now every day it was going out and finding, it identified like 10 people that we should engage with and reply to, because being reply guy is for lack of a better term, is a great way to sort of show the algorithms that you are out there and doing things and engaging, right? And it'll also get you followers because you're exposing yourself to other people's audiences, not just yelling into the void. And so I was like, great, come up with a strategy. And it's like, great, like now execute. So it goes through, again, using my browser and does all this stuff. And, finds recent tweets from those people and composes replies. And then if you're willing to violate what Twitter's terms of service are, you can even have it publish those tweets for you. And I realized, okay, this needs to be like many separate agents, one to respond to our tweets, one to this, one to compose, and one to compose all the stuff. And then, again, if you want, one to actually do the execution. And you can have the execution one be a dumb agent. And the trick with agents that I've learned, and I know I'm a little off trail here, but I'm coming back. The trick with agents that I've learned is you have to treat them each like moronic interns that could only ever possibly be good
Breathe in,
at
breathe
one
out.
task.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the important part. They can only ever be good at one task. Resist the urge to tell them more than they need to know. Because up until at least very recently with Opus 4.6, the scope of, and we've all seen this if you use ChatGPT, the scope of these things, it gets lost, right? And so you have to just keep it on track, and it will offer, like, do you want me to do that? No. And you remind it, you are excellent at, for example, composing tweets for the Business Brain show on X. That's the only thing you're good at. You're not good at composing tweets for the Mac Geek Gab show on X. You are good at composing tweets for the Business Brain show on X. That is, stay in your lane, right? And once you get that mindset of moronic interns, they can be really good at one thing, right? And they're computers, so they don't have like human emotions. They don't get bored. It's great. So I was doing that, but at the Chrome, it's cool. It was having some trouble. I was using Google Sheets as its sort of database and storing things in there. I do not recommend this for any of the things I'm about to do, but it did lead me to something because it was having trouble navigating Google Sheets. And I was like, I wish I could do this with like ChatGPT. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's what the browser's for. And so I launched ChatGPT Atlas on Wednesday afternoon at about 2 p.m. And I just took all my instructions for the moronic interns and put them into separate sessions in ChatGPT. Of course, I had Claude write me the instructions for the moronic interns. You don't have to do that yourself. The AI is there to teach you how to make agents of the AI or even make them.
Yeah.
And it's so much better because not only can, and this is true in Atlas and in Comet, right? And you can sort of do the same thing with the Claude plugin in Chrome, but it's not quite as good. But Atlas and Comet, certainly, they can not just tell you about the page, but with your permission, they can take over the page and start doing things. And this is where my life changed on Wednesday, because I will never again use a non-agentic browser. The reason is, when and this is a very rudimentary use case of this, but it's one that I think we'll all relate to. When you're on a web page, let's say the web page for your router, okay? And you're like, I know that there's a setting here where I can control the flow rate of my connection, and I just got a faster connection, so I want to set it from 500 megabits per second to a gig per second. I can't remember where that is. And you just start clicking and digging and trying to find. And it's like, why am I doing this? Why isn't there something that just gets me right there? That's the moment that I now open up the side panel and I say, please go in and change in my router here. Please go in and change things from 500 megabits per second on my connection to a gigabit. And then grant it permission to go and mess with my browser. And it'll go and flow through the windows and find the thing, and you're done. About 6 months ago, a friend of mine, business partner, actually said to me, in the not too distant future, our interface with most web pages will be just like a chatbot interface. That will be the primary interface, because that way they have context for you. They know what you're doing. You don't need to click all these things. You need to be able to tell it what you want, and it needs to be able to deliver. And now with these agentic browsers, or with these LLM embedded browsers, we have that. It's a layer on top of it. The websites aren't doing it, but we're doing it to them. And like I said, I will never use a non-agentic browser again. I'm seriously considering swapping my iPhone for Android so that I can put Comet on my phone. Seriously, once you really start taking advantage of this, for example, with one of my businesses, we have a Trustpilot account, right? And our numbers were low. It's like a 3.3 review or whatever. And I was like, okay, please do this for me. And I logged into our Trustpilot account and I said, go. And I said, please check out what our account, compare it to others in our industry, figure out where we could be, And then once you know what that gap is, take a look at our specific account, all the replies, everything that's in there, and tell me what the problem is. And what low-hanging fruit do we have that we can solve? And it did this in about 3 minutes. And it's like, yeah, here's your problem. It's like, actually, you have like 76% of the people are 5-star. The problem is your 1-star reviews. And here's the exact reason. 80% of your 1-star reviews complain about this one thing. And it's like, so I think your customer service responses need to be updated. I'm like, well, we don't have to think. I logged it into our Freshdesk account, which is our customer service engine. And I'm like, dig through, look at the actual trails for these people, figure it out. And in about 5 minutes, it came back and it was like, yep, my theory was correct. Here's your sample template for this. This needs to be changed because it doesn't show empathy until the bottom. You need to show empathy at the top and And this all happened in 10 minutes. And I basically told it 2 things. While I was on a conference call, it all happened. This is where my life changed on Wednesday. And your life can change too. The bonus, Pete, and this is the bonus that I promised you. You know how I've been having problems with Tahoe on my M1 Mini? Adam, you suggested, you suggested that I turn off, that it might be GPU related. You kind of, right. And so it was like, all right, let me target the things that are whacking on the GPU. And I did. I turned off transparency. I did the reduce motion thing, and it helped. And I have iStat menus showing me the GPU in the menu bar now. And sure enough, when my computer is sluggish, it's the GPU that's pegged, not the CPU, right? So you were 100% right about that. And that alone has made my life better. But where my life got a lot better on Wednesday afternoon was when I stopped having Safari running on my Mac. Running Atlas, and I have moved away from ChatGPT from Atlas to Comet because ChatGPT it wants
to please you, Dave.
It's the wrong engine. Yeah, I need something that's going to give it to me straight. And
I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that.
So I've moved to Perplexity's Comet. Which I think is actually using OpenAI's like 5.2 in the background anyway, but whatever. It's so much better.
I thought it grabbed other.
It does,
from
but I
several
think
models.
primarily,
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, so I'm using Comet, but it was the same experience. They're both Chromium-based browsers, and it's night and day. My computer's just smooth. Everything's great. Like, this is anecdotal. It's one person, but holy crap, it's better. Safari in Tahoe is a disaster. Now, I don't have Tahoe on this computer in the studio, and so it's like it's not an issue. There's something, even though I'm running whatever the Tahoe version of Safari is, right? That's Safari 26, I suppose. Yeah, 26.2. It's not an issue here. It's a Tahoe thing, man. There's something about the way the GPU is beat on there. Although. No, it is. It's Safari 26 too. There's a web page, the web page that I go to get all the day of the week thing, like the things. If I have that open when I'm trying to record, my computer is like unusable. I tried it this morning in Comet, and it was fine. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah.
Yeah. A little follow-up. Brian asks in the Discord chat, will Safari integrate those features with the new Safari Gemini partnership? And the comment I have on that is, Dave, you're saying I'll never use a non-agentic browser ever again.
Correct.
I will postulate very, very quickly we will not be using browsers ever again as we know them. Like, you're talking about an integrated browser with the agentic AI.
Yeah.
It's what Apple is doing.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be doing. It's going to integrate into your operating system, and you're just going to interact with your operating system, and it's going to do all this stuff for you. And I only mention that because, it's invading every aspect of our lives, this agentic stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's going to be all over the place, but you're going to be running agents natively, and that's why Apple and you're going to see all these people doing these partnerships.
Yep.
that's where my concerns come, though, because just like you were saying, like, I need to switch to Android now because this isn't available or that isn't available. It's going to get worse when we start seeing these companies partner and silo. And we know Apple is historically very bad at this, where, they're going to do Gemini. And if we don't like Gemini, too bad.
Right. Right. Well, that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Apple needs to choose wisely here.
Fair statement.
Right? Like that's it.
And they've historically not been good with this AI stuff yet. So
no, they don't.
I'm wondering if that's on purpose, though.
Well, I don't think it's on purpose. I think it's a byproduct of a very expected byproduct of Apple's commitment to privacy. AI is not private. Like, I mean, I know that it could be, and people say that it is, and there's the terms of service that say they don't use your data, and I know that they don't. But by nature of using it, my data is going to someone else's computer that I don't control. And that's a choice that I make, and I do it eyes wide open, and we talk about this enough on the show that hopefully everybody who listens it can make that choice in an informed way. And I don't judge people for either side of this choice, by the way. I get it. But I think that's why this is fundamentally incompatible with Apple's ethos. And they've been trying to fit this square peg in a round hole for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they need to shave down the edges of the peg and fit it in a round hole.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe there's another way.
Well, or maybe they just are fine again. Historically, I mean, it's not going to be great for their shareholders and stuff like that potentially. But I mean, how many years did we live being the, 2% or 3% of the market? So
fair.
There is going to be a still a good chunk of the market that values that kind of privacy and restrictions, and maybe they're willing for the trade-off, and maybe they're willing to. That's our slice of the pie. Yeah. I don't think that's the case, but I'm sure they would like financially to have a much larger chunk of the pie. But if they make those decisions, that's the decisions they make.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm eager. I mean, clearly already we're seeing some of the edges of this square peg being shaved, right? Yes. Like with this, the way, the questions about the way that Gemini is going to be integrated into whatever Apple does next and that path. Apple initially implied that this would be like a white labeled version of Gemini, which I think it will be, running on Apple's private cloud infrastructure. And now, like what Google is saying is it's going to be running on our private cloud infrastructure because they don't have the right infrastructure. Their infrastructure is not built for this. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I can say that the best engine running, or a great engine, saying which one is best right now is really difficult because they change every day. A great LLM running on the wrong hardware is less useful than not even using the LLM, right? Like if it's too slow, or if the scope can't hold enough in memory to be useful to you, then it's not going to be useful to you. So, it's interesting. I've been really liking Claude. I like of the four major ones: Gemini, Claude, OpenAI / ChatGPT, and Perplexity. I really like what Claude is doing best at the moment. I like their model. I like that it's easy. If you need more credits, you can just pay for them. You don't have to change plans, and they have Opus for programming, or really anything else. Opus 4.5 at the beginning of last week was the gold standard. It's like 3 times as fast as anything else. And then on Thursday night, Opus 4.6 came out, which has 1 million tokens, which I think is 4 times the token memory, so that it enhances the scope in a huge, huge way. So anyway, things are changing for sure. Yep. And I encourage all of you, even if you know you're not going to integrate AI into your lives, I encourage all of you to download, either Comet or Atlas and just experience something we've talked about here. Just so you know what you're missing, so you can make the decision, eyes wide open. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Adam, you hit the nail on the head. It's going to be just interacting with your operating system as opposed to the passive reading a web page type.
Yeah.
It's working for you. Yeah. So
there is something right now that exists, and I actually had it on the cool stuff found list, from MacPaw, and it's called Eney, E-N-E-Y, and it's going to try and play a video on my computer here. Great.
Yeah,
love that. Yeah,
let's all sit and watch.
Yeah, sit and watch. It is part of SetApp, but what it is it's a little assistant that sits on your computer and does integrates with your operating system as much as an app could, right? And it's all running locally. It can do your transcriptions. It can, it knows about every app in SetApp. So when you say, hey, I want to, edit a picture, it can be like, all right, great. Here's how you're going to do that. And it walks you through the process. You want to connect to your VPN, it can do things like that. So you can even do it with the SetApp trial. You can go get a trial for SetApp and try out Eney. And it's an interesting concept. It gives us a taste of what it could be like with this fully integrated into the foundation of the OS. So that's my, I snuck another cool stuff found in there, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I tried to get us back on track. Are we back on track? Is there more to say about this? Okay,
no.
Cool. We have a ton more cool stuff found to do. Yeah. And, but I promised you that I'd tell you, about my little experiment. So I want to tell you about our sponsor. And, when it comes to dog food, it seems like we have to make a choice, right? We can either have fresh and healthy, or we can have easy to store and serve, but never both. Well, at least not until now, because we don't have to choose anymore. Thanks to our sponsor, Sundays for Dogs. As geeks, we obsess over what powers our tech, so it makes sense to care just as much about what powers our pups, right? Sundays was founded by a veterinarian and mom, Dr. Tori Waxman, who got tired of seeing so-called premium dog food full of fillers and synthetics and, all that stuff. So she designed Sundays, air-dried, real food made in a human-grade kitchen using the same ingredients and care you'd use to cook for yourself and your family. Every bite of Sundays is clean and made from real meat, fruits, and veggies with no kibble, no weird ingredients you can't pronounce, and no fillers. Not only did I have Stanley, our dog, try it, I tried it. And it actually, it doesn't have enough salt in it for me as a human, but that's really good for the dogs, right? And compared to kibble or other brands out there, Sundays invest 50 times more in its ingredients to ensure premium quality, because your dog deserves food made with care, not in the best interest of cost cutting, right? And the best part for us busy nerds, you just scoop and you serve. No freezer, no thawing or prep, no mess, just nutrient-rich, clean food that fuels their happiest, healthiest days, so you get more of them to share together. Don't get caught treating your own body like a finely tuned machine while your dog is stuck on legacy kibble. Make the switch to Sundays. Go right now to sundaysfordogs.com/MGG50 and get 50% off your first order. Or you can use code MGG50 at checkout. So that's 50% off your first order at sundaysfordogs.com/MGG50. One more time, sundaysfordogs.com/MGG50, or use code MGG50 at checkout. I think you're really going to like this. Go check it out. And our thanks to Sundays for Dogs for sponsoring this episode. And I can tell you, starting something new isn't just hard, it can be terrifying. When we launched like Mac Observer, and even when we launched Mac Geek Gab, my head was full of like what ifs. What if no one listens? What if I mess it up? What if it just never turns into a real business? And that's exactly the time that you want Shopify to come in, right? Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from big brands to folks just getting started, and even me. I'm on that list, right? We use Shopify to sell merch with one of the other shows that I do, and it works great. You get your own design studio with hundreds of templates, so your store actually looks like your brand, not a generic template from 2009 or whatever. And because we're all geeks here, you'll appreciate the AI tools that help you write product descriptions, headlines, and even help enhance your product photography so you can ship faster instead of futzing with copy all night. Plus, Shopify tackles everything in one dashboard. Inventory, payments, analytics, even those email and social campaigns that you don't want to do, but you know you need to do them because they help people actually find your stuff. It's like having a built-in ops team from your side hustle so you don't get caught trying to duct tape 5 different services together. It's time to turn those what-ifs into ka-ching with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/MGG. Go to shopify.com/MGG. That's shopify.com/MGG. Go check it out. I think you're going to love it. And I love it. So I think you're going to love it. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. All right, back to cool stuff found. Bruce has our next one for us. And we've got a few in a row here which are sort of reactions to things we've talked about, other conversations you've been having. And this is one of them. He says, clipgrab.org is a wonderful and free app that will download video from most any URL. You were talking about this in episode 1127, and this is the app that I use, and it will download from YouTube, of course. In addition, it can download a video as just an MP3 audio file if you want to grab just the audio. Keep up the great work and don't get caught. Well, same to you, Bruce. Thanks for the note. I love that. We'll put ClipGrab in the show notes. Love it.
Great.
Yavel.
Awesome. Yeah. So let me take us to one. We had CheatSheet is dying a slow and painful death. May actually already be gone. And Kirschen wrote in with, I was checking out the CheatSheet app you mentioned in 1122. On further research, I came across the original developer saying the CheatSheet is discontinued, and other posts on Reddit surfaced. She says that I then found KeyClu, that's KeyClu, and tried it out. Works very well, and goes on to say install it using Homebrew. I'm looking for yeah. I installed it using Brew. It works great. I'm looking for the actual. It's like Brew space install, and I'm not seeing it.
It's on their webpage.
Brew space info space KeyClu.
Nope. That's not correct.
No, that's not.
It's on their webpage. It's on their
there
webpage.
you go.
It's Brew
and the
install.
Links in the show
task,
notes there.
KeyClu, but
But here's the cool thing about it. I set mine up to you go into settings and use a hotkey to bring it up. When in my case, if I tap Option key and hold it the second time, it comes up. And what does KeyClu give you? Well, let's say I'm in View and I want to zoom out. It says, well, and then hit Command minus, or I want to find something, find next. It's Command G. There's literally scores of commands that come up in the window for what you have in front of you. And for those of you that are mouse and trackpad users, and that's the only way you navigate, if you start using keystrokes, they become muscle memory pretty quick, and you'll find your productivity going way up, I promise. But if you press and hold it, whatever key it tells you as you install it, you can then go to the bottom right corner and open settings, and then you can customize it significantly from there. So, but KeyClu is, I've been using it and absolutely love it. And yeah, I installed it using Brew. I don't remember the exact command. It's in the show notes. That's the beauty. You don't have to remember that stuff, right?
Let me manifest. I'm not going to say wouldn't it. I'll say won't it be nice when we can just say, hey, S-Lady, zoom that in for me?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what app you're in or where you are. It just figures it out and does it. So, yep.
Enhance that blurry picture until I can see that license plate.
Exactly.
Or who robbed the store. Yeah.
And like any can, the thing from MacPaw can do some of that stuff. Like it really, like it can, because it's got all those apps from Setup that it can kind of draw on and integrates with. So it's pretty powerful with because of Setup under. I mean, they did a lot of hard work, and then also it leverages everything that it knows about all the apps in Setup, which makes a difference. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, moving on, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one from Larry that's a little bit of a follow-up. It says, hi, Dave, Adam, and Pete. I don't know how new this is, but I didn't know about it. Several operating systems ago, when Apple separated the data from the operating system, we lost the ability to create bootable clones. I have been using Carbon Copy Cloner ever since then and thought nothing had changed. I have a license for SuperDuper and recently looked at it again because my daughter was looking for a backup system. When I looked at it, it said it could do bootable clones on Silicon Macs. I had no idea. I gave it a try and it worked. I now employ both Carbon Copy Cloner and SuperDuper in my backup strategy. Carbon Copy Cloner or CCC Backup has more bells and whistles like email notifications after a run, and SuperDuper with its ability to clone is a nice safety net. Thanks for all you do. Love the show.
Sweet. That's good to know. I did not realize that was doable. Thanks, Larry.
I wonder, I kind of wonder what they're doing or how they're doing it, because I mean,
we're going to ask. Yeah.
Well, with CCC Backup, you can also create a bootable backup, and they have a really nice article that describes all the reasons or all the ways you can do it. There's kind of multiple things you can do. And they also go into some of the reasons why maybe you don't need to do it. Some of the caveats and catches and stuff like that. So you can set up your volume with CCC Backup using something they call like Legacy. I think it's called Legacy Boot Mode.
Legacy bootable copies of macOS.
Yeah. So basically, you have to do some upfront things. I think you put the operating system on there before you create your Carbon Copy Cloner destination, and then you use that destination. But there's some tricks and caveats, and really, if you just if you just install a fresh operating system, onto your thing, and then run Migration Assistant from your Carbon Copy Cloner backup, you're good to go.
Correct.
So.
And that would be true of a SuperDuper clone as well, even if it just
exactly.
cloned the data volume, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So maybe this is a discussion for another day, but I just wanted to point that out. That there are ways around this. So I don't know if SuperDuper is doing the same kind of thing or not. I don't know if they're doing something extra special, but like you said, we'll find out.
Yeah, I'll send this over, and they're always really good about like being super nerdy, and I love that. So thank you in advance.
Yeah. But again, like these days, I would probably just recommend, if it's just for troubleshooting and stuff like that, you have the recovery partition. If that doesn't work, like your whole thing's totally borked, I would probably just buy a, SSD. You don't even have to probably get a big one, and put an operating system on it and just have it as your recovery.
Yeah, that's right.
Your bootable drive.
That's actually that's a really good idea. And I'm curious to hear Dave Nanian, the author, developer of SuperDuper. I'm curious to hear his thoughts on this. But like the idea of taking the current OS, and maybe you do this every 6 months, right? Like your idea here, and just install it onto an external thing, and stop. Like, let it be at the point of needing Migration Assistant or just going in cold, right? Because either one, like you can go in cold within about 5-10 minutes. You're past all the prompts and you're using a computer. It's a blank slate, but you can sync it to your iCloud and like get up and rolling. But it saves you the time of having to like, okay, how do I go and install on an external drive? Because that's not the most obvious thing, right? And like just having that done on ice, this is not a bad idea, Adam.
Yeah, and you can pull up Disk Utility and and do all your troubleshooting and stuff like that if your main Mac has died.
Yeah, that too. But you are ready for that. Like, all right, migration assistant, let's go. Like, yep, you're at that step. Oh,
yeah. I will add that I have used SuperDuper for a long time. Recently, I did it. I have a little thumb drive about yay big. It's, I don't know, 1.5 inches long or so, something like that. It is a terabyte, and have put it on there. And then I realized my security issue. If I use that, I've got my entire computer right there. Even though I have File Vault on my laptop, that thing isn't protected. So I reformatted it with a password protected, encrypted, and then put SuperDuper on it. I haven't tried to boot from that to see if it works with the password protection on there. I would imagine that once you're past that, it should boot. But yeah, I like your idea better, Dave. Just have the operating system, and then
it's not my idea. It's Adam's idea.
Well, I'm sorry, somebody's idea. Yeah, having just the operating system on one drive, and then having your backed up data on another, and as needed. That seems much cleaner.
Yeah, ready to rock.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that way you're only pulling what you need instead of the whole shooting match. But
well, you wouldn't be able to pull the whole shooting match. What you would do, you're just doing one of the steps ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you have your data cloned, you still need to install an operating system on a drive and like get it all. Like there's that process that is a process. So doing that when you're like sitting and watching some mindless show on television is a way better time to do it than the day that, things went south. Yes. Although what happens if like I did that with 26.1 and now my Mac and backup is from 26.2? Would it matter? I don't know.
Definitely.
It's just the data. It's just the data.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you're booted onto that volume, you could upgrade it.
Well, that's the thing. Is it smart enough? Like the iPhone, if I go to migrate from one iPhone to another, it'll say, oh, hey, wait, I need to upgrade my operating system to what that iPhone has. Hang on a second, and it does it, and then you're ready to rock. I don't know. I haven't tried that with a Mac. I see an experiment.
In fact, I had that issue when I bought my phone because I had beta on the old phone and didn't on the new one, and I didn't want the beta, but it was like, oh, okay. I was trying to get out of it, but...
Let us know if you know anything about this. Feedback at macgeekgab.com. We'd love to hear from you.
You heard him. Feedback at macgeekgab.com.
That's right. Feedback at macgeekgab.com.
Woohoo! All right, back to other things that were sent into feedback at macgeekgab.com.
I have excuses. Everybody has excuses. When I've been late or forgotten something or whatever, I often jokingly say my Zulu converter was broken because, especially in aviation, we use Zulu all the time because you're all over the world and you need to reference one common time. And so there's the Zulu or Universal Time Coordinated, UTC, and that's what it is. And Andrew writes in, he says, a while back, Pilot Pete mentioned problems with time tracking in UTC local. Actually, it was just my memory, Andrew. But I did eventually show up. He says, but this is great. You can put a widget on your phone, iPad, or iPad home screen with a local UTC and your time zone, and you can have multiple widgets from one app. It's from the makers of CheatSheet. You can customize it to the nth degree, and it is called World Clock Widget.
This is cool.
Yeah.
I think it works on both the Mac and iPhone.
Oh, I haven't tried it on the Mac. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yes, it is made for iPhone and iPad and Mac. Yeah, there it is. Okay, now I'm finding screenshots for the Mac. Huh? That okay.
So, and I'll go back to my other quick tip, I guess, that is I always leave my laptop on Eastern time, be it daylight or standard at the given time, because my watch, my phone always knows the local time. And I could always, from anywhere in the world, immediately look and go, oh, probably not a good time to call home and chat with Debbie at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, when you told us that, I just assumed you left all of your devices on Eastern time.
Just my laptop.
Oh.
And that way I always had a reference to home. Without having to go, okay, it's 1800 UTC. That means it's 1400 local or 1300 local, depending on whether. Yeah, because here's the other cool thing: how many time zones around the world shift to daylight saving one week, and then another time zone shifts the next week, and
for sure,
for about 3 or 4 weeks there, the world is in a time confused mess.
With Skylar, our daughter, living in Europe, it's a mess because we'll have like meetings, and she actually works for me now. So it's like, oh, our 10 o'clock meeting. She's like, oh, shoot, can you move that to 11 because of this? And it's like, oh, yeah, let's just punt for a couple of weeks. Like, it's fine. Swatch internet time, folks. They were ahead of their time. Yeah.
Right.
It was beats. It wasn't seconds.
Beats.
It was beats. Yeah.
I think that's what I remember.
No, swatch .beat. Look at that. Internet time exists, so we don't have to. They're still pushing this. Beal mean time, BMT, is the universal reference for internet time. A day in internet time begins at midnight BMT, which is Central European Winter Time. Okay, Swatch. Okay.
At 000.
At 000.
But then there were no time zones. Everybody just had the same number.
If they really wanted to do this, like on their webpage where they talk about internet time, I'm linking it to it from the show notes, of course, they could have a ticker that showed the current time in beats. Yeah. But they don't. So anyway, let's move on.
We digress. David has a thing for us. He says, I would like to endorse originally he said new, but it took us a while to get to this. So I'll just say the Fastmail Desktop App for Windows, Mac, and Linux. I have 2 Macs and a Linux laptop, and it works great on both operating systems. It syncs with my Apple Calendar contacts, and I forwarded my iCloud mail to my Fastmail email account. No more messing with either Outlook for Mac or Thunderbird for me. I find it simpler. I find this simpler, cleaner. It has a simpler, cleaner interface. I like it. I prefer the Fastmail iOS app to the iOS Apple Mail app, but maybe that's just me. This is an easy way to keep all in sync without necessarily having to use the Apple Mail calendar or Outlook or Thunderbird, etc. stuff, basically. So he says, check out Fastmail Desktop App for Mac.
I am a Fastmail customer. My primary email all goes into a Fastmail account. This is interesting. I actually, this week, I started thinking I should just access my Fastmail from the web, because then I can do it in the Comet browser, and I have my Perplexity assistant that can help me manage my email. I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to mess with it. But along the same lines, the whole integrated operating system thing, I've also been thinking, do I want to move back to, instead of using BusyCal, do I want to move back to Calendar? Instead of using Thunderbird or Fastmail app, do I want to move back to Mail app? Do I want to use all of Apple's apps once they have, integrated AI into the operating system, because now it's going to see all of my things? I don't know. Apple Calendar, when I launch it, all my stuff's there because it's all synced, right? And when I launch Apple Mail, all my stuff's there because it's just IMAP. I could use those with no friction whatsoever, or no setup friction. So maybe it knows anyway. So
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, to me, the opposite's true. You're going to have a hard time wrestling me away from Fantastical.
Right.
I have moved, unfortunately, away from whatever the email client I was using was, back to Apple.
Are you back to Apple Mail? I really want to go back to Apple Mail, but It's like
I think
it's limited.
I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least on my Mac, am I still using? Yes, I'm still using. Why can't I remember the name of this app?
Don't know. Spark.
Spark. Yes, thank you.
You got
And
it.
I'm still using Spark on my iPhone, but they changed the Mac app so much in a way, with we've talked about how it's opinionated, and I know it's opinionated, and I opted into that, but
Sure.
they changed the desktop Mac app so much that it's too opinionated for me now.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yes.
all right.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
But I do still use it on my iPhone, and I still do enjoy it there. So
Okay.
it's nice to know that we have all these options. I guess that's probably the good part of this conversation is like you are not locked in, especially with things like contacts, calendar, mail, because they're using open standards, for how they grab stuff. You're not really locked very much, and they all sync. So
What do you use for contacts?
I just use contacts. Oh, I have
Yeah.
CardHop too. CardHop is great.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's just menu bar, and I can activate it from a quick key.
I
on
just
the Mac, at least. I don't.
contacts is one of those things like the Mac, not even the app is fine actually. It's the contacts database, the address book database on the Mac, because it's used by everything, right? But Messages uses it, Apple Mail uses it, even many third-party mail clients use it. And anytime I make an edit to a contact, my CPUs, no matter what Mac I'm on, are at full tilt for 10 seconds because it's got to do who knows what. I want to get into its SQLite database and add some indexes and just make it more efficient. I've asked the robots about it, and they're like, "Don't mess with that database.
Don't do that.
Oh, come on! But
Don't cross those streams.
Yeah, I'll make a backup first. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, CardHop is great because it's just a quick key. It's a little window. Find what you need, get the information, and you can even edit.
I need to
stuff
dig
like
back
that.
into CardHop. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Yeah. Okay.
So contacts is as bad as the notes database. It just
Dude. Oh, Notes is worse. Here's a don't get caught for us. I got caught. So when I'm the don't get caught, the Notes app, no matter what device you're running it on, only syncs when it's running. It unlike all the other Apple databases that sync in the background, you launch your Mac, you do good. If you make a bunch of edits to Notes and you have on your iPhone and you have your Mac running, but Notes isn't launched, when you launch it, it will take time for those to download and integrate. I don't know why they do it this way, but it is the sync engine is in the app itself. It's not part of the iCloud
No background
operating
syncing.
system syncing. And here's where I got burned. Remember how my cell data had run out because it was the Facebook app that just probably uploaded every picture and video I ever took in my life. I don't know, in the background or something, but whatever. Facebook app used all my data. And so the Notes app wouldn't always sync. But that's fine. I'm just doing it on my phone, right? So, and I get NAM, and same as CES. I take all kinds of notes. Like when I'm having meetings with people, it all goes into one monolithic note that's like my CES 2026 or NAM 2026 note. It's where I list the people I want to meet with, and then when I meet with them, I go to their little line. I use like a structured data kind of thing and put it in there, and it's awesome. Love it. And then I started thinking about one of my sections was I'm going to do a post NAM write-up of, not write-up, a post-NAM episode of Gig Gab. And I had an idea for that. And so I opened up my Mac on the airplane and I put the idea in. Now, I was on JetBlue. I have good Wi-Fi. My phone hadn't synced, though. And I lost a full day's worth of entries into Notes. And there is, to my knowledge, no undo of a sync. There's no sync history. You can't say, hey, no, please restore this note to where it was yesterday. Nothing of the sort.
Well, who would ever want to undo that,
Gone.
Dave? Yeah,
Gone. Because the Mac note was updated later than the iPhone note was.
Yep.
And so Apple decided that was the thing. Sync is hard. I get that. But showing me a history of, the last 10 days of things. A lot of apps do that. If you use like Google Sheets or whatever, like it'll show you your edit history. So don't get caught, folks. Brian8944 in our chat is asking, would Time Machine help bring that data back? It may be if it had been on my Mac, but it never made it to my Mac. It was only ever on my iPhone. So maybe an iPhone restore, that's a stretch. Because if my iPhone hadn't synced notes, but then again, if I hadn't opened notes while I was on Wi-Fi, it wouldn't have synced. So maybe, I don't know. Be careful. That's all I'm saying. Don't get caught. All right, moving back to cool stuff found. Right, we
should do that. Yeah. So, Bob wrote in with one called Shutter Declutter. He says, "Hello, gents. The latest discussion about what to do with your photos enticed me to offer a suggestion to clean up some old useless photos. I use an iOS app called Shutter Declutter. That is very helpful in reducing the clutter. There is one caveat, however, it is a very time-consuming process." I've got a comment on that at the end. You allow the app to access your photos, then you pick a date from the calendar to show all of the photos taken on that day over the years. You simply swipe left on a photo to delete it, or right on the photo to keep it. All deleted photos go into the recently deleted folder if you change your mind. I've deleted a couple thousand photos so far. I have used the app for about a month, and I still have about 6 months of daily photos to go through. I'm fortunate to be retired and have the time to delete a few days of photos each day. Painstaking, but worth it in my opinion. Regards, Bob. And in their own description, they talk about how it's a habit-based photo cleanup. So, and this is my thing about being time-consuming. It may be on some days, but on other days it won't be. But instead of a painful all-day purge, you're doing it one day at a time. And by the way, you get to choose when you set it up. Hey, morning, noon, evening, when you want to do it every day, and it'll prompt you, hey, why don't you go through a few photos? And
instead of doom scrolling, dum-dum, go through some photos. That's what I wanted to tell me. Yeah.
Right. So, and it's free for cleaning with daily use. Small, consistent sessions reduce storage and bloat without paying extra for iCloud and stressing over huge cleanup and that kind of sort of thing. And automatic grouping and memory resurfacing. It says it clusters similar shots and highlights old memories, making it easy to keep the best and ditch the duplicates. And built for busy people. One-time purchase, no subscription, and designed for quick daily use rather than overwhelming clean everything now utilities. So, Shutter Declutter. I have installed it. This is my first day, so I have, it went pretty quickly for me today. I guess I haven't taken a lot of photos on February 6th.
Right. So here's a use case of an AI integrated browser, because I brought this up in Comet, right? And we're doing the show.
Sure.
And I'm trying to glance quick and see, okay, what do the in-app purchases get you? Because the in-app purchases are there, and it's like monthly is $369, annual is $29, but then there's another annual that's $44.49. Maybe that's a family thing, but it's unclear. At a quick glance, I'm sure if I read the page, I would be able to learn this. But we're recording a show. I'm pretty good at this, but I can't just read the whole page.
Can't read 500 words now.
Yeah. And so I popped open the sidebar and I said, what do the in-app purchases of this app get me? And it immediately reviewed the page. Doesn't show them, but it says from the description, the free tier gives you daily swipe-based cleanup, photos from this day across years, duplicate similar detection, basic album organizing and favoriting, video compression reminders. It also notes that it's not a weekly subscription or one-time purchase. So the page actually doesn't list what has it, but it summarized it for me. It's not just a summary, which is what Safari sometimes does. This is targeted questions. And I could also ask it like, okay, go figure out from the developer what the in-app purchases do.
There you go.
Yep. And I'm going to give it permission to use my browser. You can use the browser.
And while you're doing that, my opening screen was the one that told me you have 29,085 photos, 197 screenshots, and 2,703 videos. That's a lot. Let's fix it.
That's a lot. Yep.
The screenshots is what even 197 screenshots. It's like, really? I should have gotten rid of probably 194 of those a long time ago. But
it's now, so the engine, while we're talking, I'm not doing anything other than asking it, hey, go find out. It was on the App Store page. It's now on the later creative page, which is the developers page, and it's reading it and trying to find this information. So it's bulldogging its way through this, and it's my bulldog, and I love it for that. So that's just an example of this. It's like, I don't want to have to dig and dig and dig. You dig and dig and dig. That's what computers are good at. Yeah. So it'll get there eventually, but it's fine. I can just leave that tab going, and it's my little moronic intern doing one job that it knows how to do. Right. So, yep. Oh my goodness. Guys, my mail client just opened up, and it says, I just opened up your mail client with the email address of the later creative people. Here's an email to paste into them, and that you can ask them this question.
Fantastic.
And that's Thunderbird. Like, it wasn't even, I wonder if it was Apple Mail, which is scriptable. Thunderbird is not. I wonder if it would have pasted the email right into the thing. Yeah. It did not send it, by the way. I'm just pointing it out. It's a draft email sitting there waiting to go. Yeah. I'm like, what's happening? Why is Thunderbird launching? Oh, got that. Interesting.
Fantastic.
We live in the future, folks. All right. We still have time for a couple more.
Or the past, depending on your linear timeline.
Adam?
I'm seeing how long you can stall, because it's.
I can do one while you're looking at them.
Okay, yeah. I'll do one. I'll do rnDoug's here. So rnDoug brought up this thing called, and I need to vamp because Adam's alarm is going off. I've seen a couple articles about this tool called Mole, which is the best free Mac cleanup tool I've found, according to Lifehacker, which is great because it is World Clean Up or National Clean Out Your Computer Day. So rnDoug sent this app in called Mole. It is available. Okay, now I got to find the link to it. Where am I here? I'm lost. It's on GitHub, right? So you might be able to install it with Homebrew, but you can certainly install it from here. And I think he said he installed it with Homebrew. So it's an all-in-one kind of toolkit. It says, clean my Mac app cleaner, Daisy Disk, and iStat menus combined into a single binary. It does your deep cleaning. It's got a smart uninstaller, disk insights, where you can visualize your usage and all of this stuff. And yes, brew install mole, MOLE, is the command to get this thing onto your computer. Oh, man. I'm excited about this.
You've taken us down a mole hole, Dave.
Oh, I love it. That's good. No, it's good.
Rabbit holes and mole holes.
Rabbit holes and mole holes. There's like a song in there. I don't know. Anyway, so that's mole.
And dosey dotes.
Yeah, it's the one. Yep. He says, I tried it and it freed up about 15 gigs for me and found a few orphaned caches. It's nice that you can do a dry run before making any changes. As always, your mileage may vary. So thanks, rnDoug, for that. Great stuff. Love it.
Nice.
You ready, Adam?
It's winding down. You might still hear it, but it's on its way down.
It's going to be okay.
All right. Yeah, I got one from Dan. He says, a fun little app for selectively redacting part of a photo. It works just like you'd expect. You pick a spot on a photo. Oh, and the app is called Pixeldrop. You pick a spot on the photo and it chops it into pixels. So it does that little pixelation thing on any area of your photo. You can change the size of them and some of the effects, although at a minimum size block, I'm not sure that it changes much. Yeah, if you make your pixels too small, it's not really going to pixelate too much. All the processing is done on device. It does take a bit. The developer lists that there is no data collected, and it's a free app. And it is available for, I think, it looked like all platforms. It's like a Mac, iPad, iPhone, etc.
Cool. Yeah, there it is. I have to say, I am not used to a browser responding as quickly as as Comet or Atlas do. Not Alpha. I've been in Safari land for too long, folks. It's fascinating. Anyway, yeah, there's a Pixeldrop. Great. Love it. Where are we on time? Should we do one more?
At least.
At least. All right, cool. Let's go. Pete, you're up. Pete, you're muted. And you're also up.
I knew that. Yeah. So in the word, we can do one more. I can do one more, but just quickly, the word redacting gives me the don't get caught. If you're using something like a PDF editor or whatever, and you decide to redact something, you need to save it as a single layer. So when you send it out, someone doesn't remove your redaction and see what you're looking for. So don't get caught with that. The cool stuff I found this on Instagram. It's called Brick. It's a little NFC dock that lets you physically lock the distracting apps on your phone until you tap back in. So turning your smartphone into a more focused tool instead of a doom scroll machine, and maybe even some parental things too you could do with this thing. It's basically a physical off switch for apps in your phone. It's a small device and it works with an app. And once you set it, you choose exactly which apps you want blocked: social media, games, whatever tends to suck you in away from your focused work and doom scrolling. So when you tap your phone to the brick, those apps lock and they're just gone. You can still use the phone for text, calls, maps, calculator, normal life stuff, but the time wasting stuff is blocked, and it takes a physical tap on the brick again, a conscious decision, not just a quick software override, to do something physical going, I am making a decision, I want to do this. So that physical piece is the trick, right? To get you to do it. But here's where I think it could be useful for a parental control. It's not a monitoring system. It won't read messages or track them or anything like that, but you could take your youngin's phone and tap it to the brick, and it turns off their games and that sort of thing. So when they go to bed at night, they can't wake up in the middle of the night and doom scroll and do that sort of things. And then before they leave for school in the morning, they could tap it again and get their stuff back. Basically, it's an addition to screen time, but it's an actual lock. Whatever apps you set up not to work, once you tap that brick, it makes them unusable until you tap that little. The brick is nothing more than an NFC chip, right? That works with the app to say, okay, these things are no longer usable right now. So
what?
Yeah,
I'm curious how they're doing it, but I believe them. Yeah. It's $59, and you can use one brick with as many phones as you would like, and it is cross-platform. It also works with Android if you are considering making a switch. So, yeah. Fascinating. It says screen time and Android's digital well-being limits are easy to bypass. You tap skip, and you're back in. Brick creates physical separation requiring a rescan to exit, which enforces intention. Okay, and keeps temptation out of reach, right? Because with, when you hit your time limit on screen time, assuming it's not parental controls, assuming it's self-inflicted, right? You can just say ignore limit. Like you get the warning, but you're just like, it's on your device. You can just do it. With the brick, you've got to go and like tap the brick. Where I can see this being helpful for someone that might be like me, is having this. I wonder if it would work with my iPad. Does my iPad?
I'm not ADD either.
Yeah. But anyway, it would be helpful for me to have something like this on any device that is next to my bed, and having the brick not next to my bed, right? And so on my way to bed, I tap the devices on the brick and I put them on the nightstand. Yeah, or even in the bathroom. Like, I just have to get up out of bed. This time of year, man, it's cold. I don't want to get up. So, yeah, interesting. All right. Okay. Yeah, this might actually be really good for me. Okay. Maybe I need to try screen time and fail first. But I don't think I know what's going to happen.
Well, that was it though. Is it the software override is the thing. It's easy to do right then and there, sitting in the warm, comfy bed. Yeah. Not so easy if you have to walk across a cold tile floor to get to.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or on the other side of your office, if you're trying to do something, you go.
Doesn't matter.
In a corner,
right.
It's
this is all about intention, not
bingo.
Yeah.
Training yourself, the good habits into yourself. Eventually, you wouldn't need it, right? But
we didn't need this. We're all old enough to remember a time when we didn't need this because it didn't exist.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway,
and I really like the idea to keep kids from doing stuff in the middle of the night should they wake up and
Yeah, the bricks in my room. Come get me. It's in my pocket while I sleep. It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But, like whatever. Like, the bricks.
I don't know. Lucas and Skylar might be old enough to take their own responsibility at this point. But
Lucas would read the NFC chip in the brick and program his own NFC chip to do this. And it would take him, I think, maybe about, a quarter second to come up with the idea, and then probably like maybe 300 to 400 seconds to implement it. So... yeah.
So that gives me a quick question, Dave, and you and or Adam may know.
And I don't
answer.
know if that's feasible with this particular thing. I'm just like,
but my question is along those lines of a prox card. Is there a way to read the code that's in that prox card and duplicate it?
I mean, there would have to be. Your computer's reading it all the time.
Yeah. So, because it's never a changeable code, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough about it. Do you, Adam?
We're talking about like NFC tags.
Yeah.
Isn't that what's in prox cards?
I don't know what a prox card is.
Proximity card.
No, I know.
Opens the gate. And, I'm just asking. I'm assuming that unlocks the door at work.
Proximity cards are contactless RFID credentials. I think that's
different.
Different.
Regular NFC tag.
Yeah, but it's possible the brick is an NFC tag. Like I don't.
I think it said it was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's a little NFC dock. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I mean, you can go buy. I bought like 50 NFC tags programmable NFC tags from Amazon for
ditto
$4 once or something.
Yeah.
And
I've got some too. I just can't figure out what to do with them yet.
Well,
turn on the lights. Turn off the lights.
I have an idea, Lucas, and I will share an idea. Lucas. Put one in. He got Lisa these things. I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter what it was, but for like a birthday gift or something, he got Lisa a bunch of these things, and it was kind of unclear what they were used for. And inside her birthday card, he taped an NFC tag that brought her to the web page, but not the company's web page, a customized web page that Lucas had built and hosted that. It showed all of the things he got and why he got them for her and how you might use each of these things and like all this stuff. So it was like a lot of thought went into this, but the NFC tag in the card was like, and here now you can like reference this anytime you want, which was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Another, just a real quick tip. You can use NFC tags right with the Home app and stuff to set up automations and triggers. That includes reusing ones that you maybe received. So I did this when you get your Apple Card, it has the NFC tag to activate your Apple Card. That's just an identifier. The Home app doesn't care what it is, but I tried it and I was like, I wonder if I could trigger an action with this NFC tag, and sure enough, it'll do it. You can assign.
Of course.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I guess now
you
that
can't
I'm
reprogram it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that the NFC tags that we bought from Amazon are reprogrammable.
No, it's a one-time.
They have a unique ID, right?
Exactly.
And
okay.
Is that true though?
I think
maybe there's
no.
there might be.
I just have them, but I haven't run to them yet.
I have programmed my Wi-Fi credentials into an NFC tag. Now, Apple stopped letting that happen. We talked about this on the show. But yeah, you definitely can program things into it too.
Right.
So
with the right software and stuff like that. Yeah. But again, the one from Apple, I think there's both the ROM and RAM, for lack of a better term, versions of these things.
Yes. Right.
Like the Apple one, I know you can't reprogram, like the one that came with your credit card. It's got the information for your, activating your card on it, but I don't think it will do anything other than that. I don't think you can reprogram it. But you can use it because it's just got an ID number as like an identifier to trigger an action. And obviously you can change that because that connection is on your computer, not on the tag itself.
Right. Yeah, your device is deciding what to do
it's
after
just saying,
it sees
I
it.
see tag ID 12345. I'm going to go do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Now we've got us thinking.
I think we're done now.
We're definitely done. Yeah. We have to be done. We have no surprise. There's more, but that just means that we got to come and do this next week. Depending on Pete's Wi-Fi situation, it may just be you and me next week, Adam. But,
right.
But we'll find out. Yeah. We'll all find out together.
We'll manage.
We'll all find out together.
Yeah.
All right. It's really hard singing when there's like other tones happening, like like maintaining a pitch that I just randomly chose. That was interesting. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks to all of our premium listeners. Sorry, I was distracted by all the things that we talk about here. Thanks to all of you, our premium listeners. You are a huge part of what it takes to make this show happen. Thanks to everybody who contributed all the cool stuff found and everything for this week and every week. It's fantastic. Our giveaway for February is Copilot Money, the personal finance app, the Quicken replacement, if you will. So check that out. MacGeekGab.com/giveaway. You can enter to win a free copy of. It's a very cool app. So yeah, go check it out. Thanks to CashFly for providing all the bandwidth to get the show from us to you. Make sure to check out Adam's debut film podcast and Pete's So There I Was podcast. And I think I mentioned both of my podcasts in the show, so let's leave it at that. It's fine. Buy some Mac Geek Gab merch. Or if you don't see what you like at MacGeekGab.com/merch, tell us about it, and we will add something for you. We've done that before. We have hats now because one of you asked me at MacStock. It was that simple. So let us know. And Pete, if you got some merch, what would you want it to say on there?
Well, I'd get a shirt especially, but you could get any of it. I mean, the hat, but the tagline on those merch items should always be, "Don't get caught."
It's that simple.
Made on Mac.
Thanks, everybody. Later.